Exclusive signing novel by Feilu Novel Network. Dimension Gold List. Top 10 high ignitions and shocking celebrities at the beginning. Dimension Gold List comes to all heaven and all realms. Countless lists have appeared, and the beginning is a list of the top 10 highly explosive and shocking scenes. EnumaElish. Kevin. It's not about choice, it's not about survival. At this moment, the convergence of countless ideals is the only grand wish. Jingyuan. Glorious and majestic, respect my imperial decree. Story God Loki. I know what kind of god I should be. Emperor. The golden age of humanity is within reach. Musashi Miyamoto. Breaking through the void is my destiny. Simon. My drill bit is a drill bit that breaks through the sky. Black Supreme Strange. I have nothing but time. Otto Apocaris. Kalian, live on ultimate insult, Millennium Feather, in the name of the world, Weigong Giant, Edgewalker, Uesugi DangmaFeilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Golden List of Dimensions comes. You are listening at novel full.audio. A golden light dot appeared in the dimensions of the heavens and realms, and then exploded with a loud explosion. A huge gold list has appeared in everyone's sight. Dimension Gold List, inventory of the top 10 high-burning and shocking scenes in the world. Ranking in no particular order, this is a reflection of all worlds, a reversal of fate, a connection of dimensions, and a broad perspective. Kamen Rider World Bow up right arrow living down right arrow forever up right arrow dream down right arrow. At the entrance of the hospital, Tanli was about to say something with a silly smile when suddenly the golden list appeared in the eyes of everyone present. The three people who were running the men's 100-meter race also stopped and carefully pondered the origin of this gold medal. Tan Lidu's face froze and he said, "My divine talent couldn't understand what this thing was constructed for. Isn't it a game?" While Tan Lidu was still going crazy, the men's racing trio suddenly reacted and put aside the matter of the gold medal, pressing down on Tan Lidu and covering his mouth. Youth Hacker World. After seeing the gold medal in his field of vision, Tian Xiaoban raised his arm to look at the super watch on his wrist. Is it also the same thing as you? Magical Girl Little Round World. All Chubby's eyes were filled with gold medals. Are they products of other higher civilizations in the universe? They are also coveting those girls on Earth. In the hospital, Xiao Mei Yan, who had returned from another cycle, discovered the golden list and felt a slight sense of hope in her heart. This cycle is so strange, perhaps it is a hope to save Xiaoyuan. Hokage World Qianshou was handling official duties in the Huiying office when a sudden golden light appeared in front of him, which made him very alert. It's a natural evil illusion of Uchiha. It must have been done by the despicable Uchiha. 1,000 hands thought of this, but I didn't know that the whole tolerance world had made a pot of porridge. World of America 5-star General MacArthur sat on the chair with a faint smile and said, "The existence of this list may allow me to see more legends." When the golden list appeared in my eyes, I knew that more generals would be born. Li Tang World Yuan Tiangang looked at the dimensional gold chart in the cold wind, with inexplicable emotions in his eyes. Turning around fate. Hee hee. The world is chess, and I hold it. In my hands, Li Tang will continue his fate. Even the heavenly way cannot stop me. Collapsed the world. Chongqing City. The raven was pacing repeatedly in the ruins, its rapid pace revealing her inner anxiety. Turn around fate, I wonder if my Villa Island can come back. Thinking of the sunken Villa Island, the raven couldn't help but start falling small pearls. Damn the law of the void. No matter what price you pay, humans will definitely overcome collapse. Tomorrow's Ark World. Terula herself, whose consciousness was being squeezed deep in her mind, opened her eyes in a hazy way. She prayed to heaven but no one could respond to her, and her ideals disappeared into the darkness, becoming a tool to assist the tyrant in his tyranny. All the partners she exchanged for with her luck in the first half of her life also died, leaving only the smirk of those who succeeded in the conspiracy. She silently prayed in her heart, if you really can reverse your fate. I am willing to give everything, back to the beginning of everything. See Tiger World. The white second man, who was slowly approaching the base head 4, suddenly noticed a golden dimensional gold chart in front of him. At the same time, Jitusi and the mad cow sitting on the nearby sofa also discovered the existence of the dimensional gold list. However, what is the dimensional gold chart for the top 4? Where is the temptation of a tall and handsome man who cannot be resisted in front of me? Bai Sinan was stunned when he saw the 4 members of Jitu, thinking that the dimensional gold list was created by his master to save him. Bai Sinan couldn't help but close his eyes and howl up to the sky, "Master! Save my teeth!" And the heavenly Tao, who was far away on the grassland, was still pondering what the dimensional golden list was when suddenly he felt a call. White second son. No concern. After hesitating for a while, Tiandao felt that he might have felt wrong, so he continued to study the dimensional gold list. 3 Kingdoms World Gungnier, who had just returned from robbing the camp, couldn't help but exclaim when he saw the dimensional gold list in front of him. This is a treasure from heaven. Nominated for the gold list. There must be a place for me, Gungnier. 100 cavalry robbing Wei camp, their achievements shaking the world. I am willing, and I will surely become famous throughout the world. 3 imperial districts in front of the bar table, Tifa took a glass of wine and touched Song Hana. He slowly said, the history of this gold list is good, and it will certainly cause unrest in the 3 imperial regions. I, Jerusalem, should also take the lead to pacify the sisters in the 3 imperial regions. Don't panic. To be interjected, we can't analyze the dimensional gold chart, and there is no record in the database. It's suspected to be extraterrestrial technology. Without any worries in King Ada's eyes, he calmly said, since it's impossible to analyze, let's take a closer look. Day in the campus world. Ito Cheng has been experiencing some insomnia recently. Since the appearance of the dimensional gold chart, there have always been some names of people in his dreams. Tao Zhizhu, Huayi, Jian Tongshan Air, are like fate from a past life, like good brothers from a past life. He rolled over on the bed and murmured, I hope the existence of the golden list can allow us 4 brothers to meet again. Just as the heavens and all realms were studying the essence and origin of the dimensional golden list, there was a change in the dimensional golden list. The inventory of the dimensional gold list is about to begin, about to open speech chat area and bullet screen area. During the world inventory period where the inventory character is located, interference with the inventory character is not allowed. The chat area is currently open. The world of Ghost Slaying Blade, Li Tang, Pirate King, Hokage, Death, Cosmic Star God, Campus 4 Overlord, Starry Sky Railway, Alden Ring, EVA. Are entering. As soon as this change occurs, it immediately makes the heavens and all realms boil. Ito Shin. At Momoyoshi, at Shinji Kane, at Brothers Huaya. I have known your existence since my past life. Huayi. Oh my goodness. I'm also quite puzzled. You always feel a sense of familiarity. Jian Tongshan Air. Well. It feels like brothers who have washed their feet together. It feels good. Tao Zhizhu. I don't know why, but at the first sight of you, I couldn't help but say, Chingu, Yigu. Second Master. Tachibana Takashi. 6. Aha. Many worlds. Aha smells the smell of fun. Aha wants fun. Merlin. Then let Merlin take his friends upstairs to find some fun. Shengongbao. This place. It's very, very mysterious. As the audience from all over the world was chatting happily, the inventory began. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Enchidu vs Gilgamesh. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Dimension Gold List, inventory of the top 10 high-burning and shocking scenes in the world, ranking in no particular order, top 10 Enchidu vs Gilgamesh, the reunion of the Heavenly Lock and the Heavenly Covenant after 1,000 years, let's say in Uruk-like greeting. In the Fate world, Gilgamesh, standing on the street lamp, suddenly ignored the crowd and burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. Is there still such a possibility? Wiping away the tears of laughter from the corners of his eyes, Gilgamesh transformed into photons and disappeared, leaving only one sentence in the air. This war has become more interesting. In the world of Hokage, Ape Flying Sun / is pondering with his pipe in his mouth. Throughout the history of the ninja world, there are no names such as Gilgamesh or Enchidu. Is it a different world, thought Monkey Flying Sun / but suddenly they were kicked away by Tuanzang. Tuanzang walked in seriously and said, Ape Fei, this kind of vision must have been created by the naturally evil Uchiha clan. We need to take action against Uchiha. Ape Flying Sun / said calmly, this kind of vision that can cover the entire ninja realm, the Uchiha clan, cannot be eliminated. We still need to discuss it at this time. What are we discussing? Jitsuan Tuanzang pressed forward step by step, if you don't deal with Yuzhibo now, you will regret it, Monkey Flying. Upon hearing these words, Ape Flying Sun/'s face turned black and he slowly said, Tuanzang, I am the Hokage. In the world of Chenglong's adventures, Xiaoyu curiously asked, Dad, who are Gilgamesh and Enki? Dad took a sip of coffee and said calmly, Enkidu and Gilgamesh are figures in Mesopotamian mythology, with a history that is too ancient to trace. But Dad sat up straight, it's nice to see what Gilgamesh and Enki both look like. Inventory begins in a dimly lit wilderness of Shandong, illuminated by flames. A middle-aged man raised his right hand with a red engraved pattern towards the summoning array in the center of the cave. Start. Based on silver and iron, and based on the great work of stone and contract, barriers are erected to block the wind from descending from heaven, and the doors of all directions are closed. They emerge from the crown and wander along the three forked roads leading to the kingdom. The middle-aged man sang earnestly, and the summoning formation began to emit a blue light, full, 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 full. Repeat 5 times and discard when full. Declaration. Your body listens to my command, and my command is entrusted to your sword. If you wish to reside in the Holy Grail, comply with this will, follow this principle, and respond. Limlu. Is this a summoning formation? Who is this man summoning? Gu-e. Judging from the scale of this summoning array, it should be summoning something from an incredible place. Constantine. The Holy Grail. The cup that holds the blood of saints. The origin of this ceremony is very exquisite. Jia Bailey. Ha. There really is a Holy Grail that can hold the blood of saints. I, a genuine angel, don't even know. In the FA world, Vlad III looked at the summoning array with great interest and said, which Holy Grail war is this? I don't know which famous heroes are present in this Holy Grail war. The summoner's light suddenly magnified. The strong wind pressure blew the man's clothes, almost blowing him out. Buzz. The light dissipated, and a throne appeared in the center of the summoning array. The blonde King Gilgamesh stood with his legs crossed and his face propped up, looking at the man in front of him. Success. Ha 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 ha. The man looked at Gilgamesh feverishly, then covered his face and laughed wildly. Answer me, are you the arrogant magician who wants to rely on the radiance of the king? Gilgamesh asked in a bored and disgusted tone, it's the ancient hero King Gilgamesh. I didn't expect him to summon this one, so he's sure to win. Ingli Li, alas, those who say they have won will never win in the end. Dad. Oh my. I didn't expect Gilgamesh to be a pretty guy. Aizen said, haha. With such ugliness, the man who summoned Gilgamesh will soon die. See God King. So arrogant. How dare a mere golden-haired boy be so arrogant? You already have a way to take death. The man opened his arms and said, "That's right. I'm your lord." Puff. As soon as the man finished speaking, his hand engraved with a curse was cut off, and blood splattered onto his clothes. What, it turned out to be a clown, so let's make even louder howls to please me. Gilgamesh's slightly disgusted gaze disappeared, leaving only boredom, and deeper in the cave, a young girl slowly emerged from the shadow. "I am in fear," begging for the qualification to appear in front of the great king. As if seeing something familiar, Gilgamesh put down his hand and calmly said, "Yes, I grant you the honor of meeting me. It's commendable that you didn't let this bastard's blood splatter in front of me, but you made this unworthy meat smell in front of me. I want to hear from you what excuse you have." Sakura Manji said, "Thank you for inviting me. My hand is starting to hurt." Has his power as the Lord disappeared? Ba Mame said, "Fortunately, this gentleman only broke his hand." Flanda. That's right, a broken hand is not fatal. If it's a war, a broken hand would be a good outcome. Hizuka Jing said, "What a terrible world is this when someone casually describes such a young child as disabled. Abandoning the heavenly emperor. The world is filthy again." Upon hearing Gilgamesh's reproach, the girl knelt down in an orderly manner and presented the man's right hand, saying, "I'm impolite. I just felt that dealing with a thief who stole a treasure trove key was not worth the king's own judgment, so I took it on my own." Is this key boring? Jingyuan picked up the golden key and looked at it, then threw it in front of the man. Listening to Gilgamesh's intention to save his life, the man looked at the key on the ground and quickly turned around to throw a curse ball at the girl. The girl's calm hands patted the ground, and the soaring flames turned the man into charcoal. Looking at the young girl Gilgamesh in front of him, he felt that she looked like someone very much, and he also liked children very much. So Gilgamesh stood up and asked seriously, "So, once again, are you a magician who wants to rely on the radiance of the king?" The girl lowered her head slightly and a curse appeared on the back of her hand, which was caressing her chest. Fate world, on the constellation of the spirit. Ishtar saw Gilgamesh casually throw the key to the treasure trove and his eyes lit up. "Which holy grail war is this? I also want to participate." Imagining the arrogant expression on Gilgamesh's face after the king's treasure was unlocked, Ishtar's face gradually showed a comical smile. Wu Fei Gu. Not much thanks to Jill Gu yet. Peter Parker. This man is going to die. Why don't we run around him? Young man. Perhaps he thinks his advantage lies in him. Yuji Boban said, "This little girl is pretty good at using fire escape, much stronger than those Yuji Bo people who use fire escape to kill undead people in later generations." Naz. This pattern is a contract. It is indeed a combination of one master and one servant. Qing Shan Chihai. Gilgamesh is so handsome. I'm really looking forward to what Enki looks like. New book seeks flowers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Enchantments come. The reunion of locks and contracts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Screen changes. In a dark forest, it is raining heavily in the sky. A man smashed a gun at a white wolf in front of him and said, "Why? Why? Why did the curse appear on you, a synthetic beast? Why is this happening? Why do you think I pushed your magic loop to the limit? You're a medium." The man kicked the white wolf lying motionless on the ground. "It's honorable to be a medium for summoning gods. Why don't you accept it?" Li Tang Wang. The snow leopard is lamenting. My snow leopard is mourning for this white wolf. Conan. It seems that the prerequisite for summoning heroes is to have a curse, and this man wants to obtain the curse, but he didn't expect to appear on the synthetic beast. Artos. Ah. Upright arrow becoming a medium for summoning gods. Is it honorable? God. It's also miscellaneous. Dumbledore. All things have value in existence, how could they become the medium of glory for summoning God? Bruce Wayne. Enchidu. As an old god, are you really an evil god? The man was beating the white wolf harder and harder, and the white wolf felt the approaching death and his desire to survive grew stronger. Live. 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 Live, ow. Pie. Accompanied by the melodious howling of wolves, thick lightning strikes through the forest, illuminating the surroundings. A man with long green hair, wearing a white robe, and a male-female model appeared on the open space from Lancer Enki's arrival here. Immortal. Even artificial life has a desire to survive. Life is really wonderful. Red Wolf. So pitiful. Who can come and save him? Zig. I am even more convinced that if life has its own will, whether it is artificial or not, they are all life. Lena. This lightning bolt. Something amazing has come. Phosphorus leaf stone. Is this? Enchidu. The natural breath, the earth's breath. So friendly, so gentle. Aponia said, he possesses the power of precepts and equality towards all things. Without a doubt, he is the true deity. Enki turned his head and looked at the white wolf behind the man with azure eyes. He said gently, "Are you the Lord who summoned me?" After speaking, Enki crossed over the unbelievable man and walked behind him, picking up the white wolf and caressing it. "The contract is established," he said, feeling the gentle embrace and peaceful environment. A tear streamed down the corner of white wolf's eye. Ignoring the man barking behind him, Enki walked towards the depths of the forest holding the white wolf in his arms. On the edge of the small river deep in the forest, Enki sat by the river, with the white wolf lying beside him. "I'm at ease now. I thought everything in this world would be filled with things like the city of Uruk before." Enki looked up at the sky, his eyes gradually becoming gentle. "Fortunately, this world is still beautiful." Changjing Zeos. Miscellaneous fish. Miscellaneous fish. This man is too clownish. Haha. Li Tangwan. The white wolf has not lost contact. Amia. Enchidu. So gentle, not like humans or gods, just like a land that embraces the world. Jingu. What are those things in Uruk? I see. Enchidu, are you watching everything? Bruce Wayne. It's a good God, humans have been spared from a disaster. He loves this world equally, and no matter what, his existence is harmless, said Marvel World with such affirmation. The meaning of his birth is to stand on the side of life, and similarly, he can feel the essence of Enki standing on the side of life. Suddenly, a wave of familiar fluctuations came from a distant place. It is the link between locks and contracts. Enki looked up into the distance in surprise. Shouldn't it be? Is it you? The duel on that battlefield can continue. Now things have become interesting. Enchidu stood up and spread out his arms. Ah. Dior. Roar. Gravity. The encounter between people is created by fate. Shanks. We're getting to the point now. Is the final battle about to begin? Shenshan Feiyu Zhen. Let me see how stunning this ancient epic can be in modern warfare. Rocky. Haha. What kind of shock can the indigenous gods of the earth have? From the person's breath spreading thousands of miles away, Gilgamesh was about to drink the rejuvenation medicine when he suddenly felt a familiar breath and a huge surprise appeared in his eyes. Ha ha ha. Little girl, feel the surprise. This holy grail war is worth the king's full effort. After speaking, Gilgamesh casually threw away the rejuvenation potion, and the young girl Tiny caught it with both hands in confusion and panic. This is the elixir of rejuvenation, which may not be needed at your age, but you should accept it with gratitude. Okay. Okay. During the Warring States period, Ing Zheng's eyes turned red as he looked at the medicine in Gilgamesh's hand. The elixir of rejuvenation. Although it's not an elixir of immortality, it can still make people live another life. Surprisingly, that's how it was given to that child. In the FZ world, Yoshimasa's face was bitter. He respectfully appointed Gilgamesh as a vassal and served him, but was looked down upon by him and did not need to exert all his strength to fight the Holy Grail War. And in front of this little girl, the rejuvenation elixir was given casually, and sensing Enchidu's breath, he was about to exert all his strength. It's really frustrating to compare people to each other. Haida. It's not that something that grows excessively, but the miracle of reaching longevity and rejuvenation is actually sealed in a bottle of spiritual medicine. I really want to study and research it. Snape. Is the magic of potions something muggles can explore if they want? Meishu Sayaka said, but Tiny's luck is really good. Gilgamesh looks difficult to get along with, but actually he's quite good. Suddenly, Tiny, who was bowing her head to thank her, noticed that the curse was emitting a red light. She looked up and saw that it was Gilgamesh who had liberated the treasure. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Be obedient and leave the sword, sing to your heart's content. I want to. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A golden key, shining with a constantly rotating combination, caught Tiny's eye. Don't confuse this with the key brought by the jester just now, said Gilgamesh calmly. At the key link, countless dense red circuits appear, extending into the sky, deciphering the rules of the world. Tina, prove it to this king. Gilgamesh looked up arrogantly. A guy who feels scared just by the aftermath of the battle is not qualified to become a vassal of this king. Nami. The sparkling key. It looks very valuable. He doesn't know how to link this super large treasure trove, does he? Chow chow. Is this also a divine destruction tool? It looks so powerful. Gui. The rules of the world are being deciphered by this key. Is it true that this key is not the essence of a weapon? Virgil. A weapon with the concept of division. No, it's a weapon that opens up the concept of the world. Kapu. The battle that can make people feel scared in the aftermath has made me a little curious. How big is the scale of the battle? Humph. This is the Holy Grail War. A regulated war. There won't be too much damage, said Tamahisa Endozaka. A light ball appeared in the air, and Gilgamesh reached into it with his hand and twisted it hard. Click. A pillar-shaped weapon in gold, black, and red color was held in Gilgamesh's hand. I believe you just woke up with a bad temper. Please accompany me to this feast for the time being. Accompanied by Gilgamesh's words, EA's obedient sword features ancient red patterns. Holding the obedient sword, Gilgamesh jumped hard and headed straight to the battlefield. Artox. Ha ha ha, ah, ah. Upright arrow. A stick. A stick. A stick is also called a sword. Zeta. No. This weapon is like the Beria Twilight Sang, a conceptual incarnation weapon. I'm not sure what the specific concept is. Ba Yunzi said, Allah Allah, the feast is about to open. In the FZ world, all the lords straightened their bodies and focused on the gold list. For them, the biggest enemy of the Holy Grail War is the hero King Gilgamesh. Being able to learn about Gilgamesh's bottom card here can also be considered a preemptive opportunity, and a plan to deal with Gilgamesh can be formulated in advance. In the Fate world, a cold sweat flowed down the forehead of the Weigong Giant, and to this day he still cannot decipher the obedient sword. The pressure of the sword that was drawn by Gweligian destroyed the evil hand of the Holy Grail, and he couldn't imagine the completely liberated Gweligian. The screen switches to the forest. Emperor, I hope you can wait here for a moment. I must go, Enki said gently as he bent down to the white wolf. The surrounding trees continued to grow, enveloping the white wolf and protecting it inside. Lord, I will go back as soon as I go. As long as my life is still alive, I promise to return to your side. After speaking, Enki was enveloped in green light and headed straight towards the sky. Flying towards the desert, Izumi Sawasher said, Enki treats his lord well, even if he's not human. Qianshou Zhujian said, is Enki Dusang using the wooden escape? He must be very good at stomping his feet and preventing backlash, right? Toad Maru. It's not Mu Dun, he has so much natural power that it's scary. He can be said to be the embodiment of nature. Feng Jian Yoshiang said, Enkidu. I really like it. The screen turns to the desert. Enkidu and Gilgamesh looked at each other from afar, speechless. Suddenly, Gilgamesh closed his eyes and then showed an arrogant smile. Enki also tilted his head to show a gentle smile. Gilgamesh raised his obedient sword, and a huge wind pressure swept away the dust in the air. A red light emerged, and a crimson thunder split from the sky. The clouds were surrounded by a circular vortex with the good leaving sword as the eye of the wind. At the center, Gilgamesh aimed the good leaving sword at Enkidu, his face full of joy. Be obedient and leave the sword, sing to your heart's content. The sword body, divided into 3 sections, began to spin at high speed, and a red thunderbolt emerged, causing heavy rain to fall from the sky. Miyuki Osaka said, this one is smiling. It's like that number 1 is smiling. The young man said, he still loves to laugh. A boy who loves to laugh will definitely be beaten. Bikigu Hachiman said, Enkidu's smile is really. Taiji has healed. Is he a man or a woman? Magneto. Gilgamesh must be a mutant, right? He must be. Changpan Zhuangwu said, good. So powerful. One day, I will also become the king of this. Bo-Ren Chuan world. Chimu Kakashi looked at this vortex cloud and remembered bad memories. Can the pressure of drawing a sword alone reach the scene where Naruto and Sasuke ended the final battle in the valley back then? Marvel world. Rocky's eyes were full of disbelief. Cricket humans. Cricket Earth natives. How could? The phrase, such a weak god, from Hulk back then was still remembered by him, and Gilgamesh's power made him powerless and furious. Enki looked up at Gilgamesh, who was wielding his magic recklessly, and said gently, I'm glad to be able to compete with you again in terms of performance like this. According to the words of this era. Enki's gentle tone changed and everything turned sharp. I want the engine to be fully turned on, Jill. Enki's palm, which was spread out, bloomed a white flower, and the earth was illuminated by the emerging golden light. The corresponding golden thunder of Gilgamesh's red thunder also kept splitting down. Tiny on the distant Gobi Hills looked into the distance, the sky twisted into a huge cloud vortex, and the golden and red lightning intertwined constantly. The scene only shook Tiny, but she felt that something big was coming. Li Tang Wang. I want all the smoke bombs to go, Wang Yuan. I said, Gilgamesh is unstoppable, Enki's engines are all on. Emperor Dong Hai. Enki has become serious. The calmness and gentleness just now have all turned into a sharp sense of oppression. The pressure is so overwhelming that the horse cannot breathe. Naxida. The earth surges with golden lotus, and the flowers in his hands are naturally completely used by him. This is the true god of grass, right? Alman. At Osaka Shizai, do you think this is a holy grail war that won't be too destructive? Yen Fengili said, as we all know, the holy grail war is hidden in the public eye. Ha ha ha. In the world of One Piece, Whitebeard raised his glass and cheered loudly, Lula La Sons. Celebrate. Cheer for the opening of this unprecedented battle. In the world of Chuanmu Chuan, the fugitive Odakubo shook his fists and said, TMD. It's on fire. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. EnumaElish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Narrating the original. When heaven and earth are opened up, nothingness also offers a gift of congratulations. Tear apart the world with my obedient sword. Gilgamesh's voice echoed through the sky, and the majesty of the obedient sword grew louder with the singing. Nebula sweeping, the so-dot called hell in the sky is the end of the eve of creation. The screen transitions to the universe, and throughout the earth, a visible giant vortex appears on the surface of the planet. River God. Oh my! It's a sword that created heaven and earth. Artos. Ah! Open it up. Upright arrow day downright arrow open to. Walter. Is nothingness also a gift for it? As expected, it is indeed a conceptual weapon aimed at the world. Nyen. How was this weapon made? So awesome. Kelsey. This land cannot produce such weapons, and it is by no means a product of technology. Ghost destroys the world, and Ghost Dance Suji's face turns green with fear. He exclaimed in disbelief, how could it be? As if the 3D surround scene had given every cell of Suji Kami their own consciousness, they wanted to disperse and escape, but finally Suji Kami couldn't help but explode. Transformed into a group of ghost-dancing Suji no Kami and watched the movie separately. The Trisolaran civilization, which the Trisolarans want to analyze but cannot decipher, cannot show any traces of technology on the Guili sword. It is like a natural creation. Faced with Gilgamesh's full strength, Enki no longer concealed it and unleashed all his firepower. What awakens here is the breath of the stars, and I will walk shoulder to shoulder with the world. Therefore, Enki stretched out his body, countless rice ears, flowers, and branches sprouted on the ground, and huge trees surrounded Enki as they rose to the sky. Arthur Pendragon. The breath of the stars. Enchidu. So your treasure is a treasure against solemnity. Rose. What does it mean to speak in detail upstairs about Dui Suzheng. Arthur Pendragon. The crystallization of dreams embodied by miracles within the planet, enhanced in power by threats to the planet and the world, a treasure that forever surpasses extraterrestrial threats. The Holy Emperor said, is there really such a power? If there were such treasures in my world, there would be salvation. Kikyu. The Son of Nature, who walks shoulder to shoulder with the world, is truly a good God. Heaven and earth obediently leave the star of creation. EnumaElish, O people, I hope to lock the gods together. EnumaElish, bang. The collision between heaven and earth, as well as the collision between the world's treasures and the solemn treasures, illuminated the heavens and the earth. Tiny on the hill suppressed her fear and did not retreat, but the strong light generated by the collision still made Tiny unable to help but cover her eyes. Sakuta Zichuan. Greetings, David Martinez. This is a collision of heaven and earth. Just like in movies. It's so shocking. Apricot Sakura. All the treasures have the same name. It's really a pair. Izerial. Tanique is so brave, what's the fear of the aftermath? Any time a crispy ADC comes, it's instantly lost to the unknown AoE. Absolutely on the Warcraft front, Xian Wangshan couldn't help but cover his face and said, ha 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 ha. That useless goddess. Have you seen my king and Enki waiting for me? Ha 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 ha. Ishtar, who had a sign of the goddess of scrapwood hanging beside him, was angrily thinking, where has the bull of heaven gone? The screen turns to the urban area thousands of miles away. In a small house, a little girl with a curse in her hand sleepily opened the curtains and looked out at the lightning, boom. Ah! The strongest collision between the two treasures produced a light that was like lightning in the city, instantly startling the little girl, thunder. The little girl crawled onto the bed in fear and covered herself with a blanket, her trembling body crying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thunder, it's so scary. The little girl's tears kept flowing from the corners of her eyes, and her body trembled violently. Outside the blanket, a part of the black mist slowly enveloped the bed, covering the little girl and isolating the sound outside, while the other part flew towards the battlefield and the desert. Bei Changtan said, "Don't be afraid, lightning will pass by in a flash. Pineapple blows snow. These two people have no quality. Look at how scared this child is. In the 5 rivers Qin. Only I noticed that this little girl has a curse on her hand. She is also a ruler. General Tiandao. How did the Holy Grail system choose the Lord when such a young child was involved in war? Patriot. This black mist should be the servant of this little girl. What is the essence of something suspected of being evil? Majima. This black mist. I'm a bit familiar with it. At this moment, the battlefield was filled with yellow sand, with sandstorms and tornadoes emerging around the two of them reminisced about the past and both achieved satisfactory results. Enki was the Enchidu who had experienced everything, and Gilgamesh was also familiar to Enki. If my childhood king had known my current king, wouldn't he have committed suicide? Gilgamesh joked to himself, as he lightly leaped into the sky, is that right? Enki looked up at the thousands of open treasure troves and sighed, if you were a child described by Scarlett when you were young, I think even if you knew, you would choose to live. For the people of Uruk. After speaking, Enki spread out his hands, the wisdom of the people was fully revealed, and golden dots emerged one by one from the earth Elia. Little Jill should know about him who grew up. Jill has a very good personality. It's really a world apart from him who grew up. Nami. Does this really link to the treasure trove? There must be many treasures in thousands of doors. Eddie. The child described by Scarlett. That really fits all the good morals of a child. Joseph Josta. The battle is not over yet. It's great. It's so great. Fei Dian or Man, Mesopotamian mythology is the oldest civilization, so Gilgamesh and Enki are both. The oldest human air warfare and air defense warfare. At night, there will be more Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Shocking the World. The Wisdom of the People versus the King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom 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 boom. Da 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 da. Thousands of light dots bombard each other from the earth and sky. The roar and explosion echoed through the entire desert. The dense array of weapons and treasures began to clash with each other, and the sound of collisions and shattering could be heard endlessly. The door of King's treasure sprays dozens of weapons outward every second, and the wisdom of the people opens up their firepower, scattering more divine weapons. Black rock shooter. Fire is the truth. Is this going to die? Right. It's definitely going to die. Right. Magical woman. The divine battles of ancient mythology were far inferior to the battles of the two of them. Pava. What is this throwing tile? Good. So powerful. Yuan Yorigami said, Gilgamesh. Is this really a power that humans can possess? In the FZ world, Yoshimasa Asaka couldn't help but ponder as his eyes turned green as he watched the firepower clash. Could it be that Gilgamesh was playing him before? In the FGO world, Toshika Fujimaru's eyes flickered as she watched the scene. This scene is even more spectacular than the attack and defense battle in Uruk City on the Absolute Warcraft front back then. In the fantasy world, Ba Yunzi watched the stunning scene with great interest and commented, I didn't expect there to be such a dense barrage in the other world. The sky was shrouded in golden rain. Occasionally, a mist weapon flew over and the light rain shot towards Enki, who gently dodged it, and the divine armor hit Gilgamesh's golden armor and was also bounced off, making him burst out laughing happily. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Suddenly. Enki seemed to feel something ominous rushing to the battlefield. He closed his eyes and put his hand on his ear to start listening and feeling. The screen suddenly flickered rapidly. The black and white building. The doctor's bird beak mask. The decaying skull. Enki opened his eyes wide and turned back abruptly. What's bothersome? It might be my natural enemy or something like that, he said Xiaofu. Gilgamesh smiles like a fat tiger. Yasina. I really laughed so loudly that even Enki covered his ears. He's not covering his ears, it seems like he's listening to something, said Dongxian Wudao. Sanning Chao said, who did I say it was? It turned out to be death. In the DC world, Constantine's cigarette dropped directly from his mouth. I never expected that the death of one of the 4 Knights of Apocalypse would lead to her appearing in this war of another world, as a servant of a little girl. In Marvel World, Wolverine broke out in a cold sweat, and as a mutant who never dies, he felt the feeling of death for the first time. He can keenly perceive that death does not affect the body, but rather truly dies as a life. In the world of FA, King Vlad III sat on the throne and suddenly realized, no wonder. According to mythological records, Enkidu died from the curse of death, so the Pale Knight's nature is like Enkidu. Joan of Arc below also looked solemnly at the 3 followers who had already appeared, as there were too many unconventional levels in this Holy Grail war. The wisdom of the people and the treasure of the king both extinguished their flames, and Gilgamesh turned his head to look into the distance. The curse of death. How could this king be so careless, as if he had been blinded by pleasure? The reason why Enki appeared in the world is not only because he was destined to continue his confrontation with Gilgamesh, but also because he wanted to protect his lord helpless. Enki had no choice but to stop fighting and escape. In order to protect the lord, he must not die here due to the arrival of a third party. Nick Fury. Damn it, fuck. Although he's a good god, it's still dangerous to have such a powerful and independent thinker outside. Dumbledore said, having a guarded heart, no matter how powerful, will not lose control. Xiao Meiyan said, the awareness of preventing third parties is still very strong, after all, Lao Lu is really annoying. The Duel of Fate. Will it chain up to summon certain people or gods who are connected to them? In the world of fate, on the constellation of the spirit, Gilgamesh, who saw the phrase, big barrel wooden feather coat, pondered for a moment and thought of the key he had casually thrown, his face turning green. Ish. Tau. Upon learning that the decisive battle was about to end here, Gilgamesh closed his eyes with a slight smile and indulgence, grinned recklessly, and raised his obedient sword. This is the final blow tonight, taking this move will replace the promise of reunion. The sandstorm and dragon whirlwind were shaken apart by the wind pressure triggered by the obedient sword once again. Nebula swept through. The starry sky appeared again. Of course, I plan to do the same, Enki said as he spread his arms and smiled at Gilgamesh and EnumaElish. The screen switches to the perspective of the moon, and a dazzling red light dot lights up at the center of the Earth's surface. Earth star god Gaia. Isn't it? Are you still here? Gaia Ultraman. Have you heard the mournful cry of Mother Earth? Have you seen the Earth's crust crumbling? This scale. This is not right, is it? Tony Stark. I remember there was a church in the Holy Grail to oversee the war, wasn't there? It was to manage it. Calm/by. This wave, those who try to persuade will die first. It all depends on when they stop. Weigong Giant. The floor tiles of Ludong Temple are really too strong. Day and night fade away, and a new day begins to rise. The dust and smoke had already dissipated, and Tiny's face still had a cold sweat on it. She slowly stood up and looked ahead in shock. In front of her was a vast and boundless land, a deep red abyss flowing with magma and cracks in veins. It was like a hole in a planet. This is the Holy Grail War. Gaia Ultraman. Full dusk. 100 Dusk. Shilin. The power of humanity. Is it impossible? I will definitely not say a word when this hit me. Haidong Dashu said, the ceremony of the Holy Grail War is truly the best treasure in the world. In the world of the moon, the clock tower has become a mess. The coronal resolution was directly convened, and the monarchs of the clock tower's understanding of the Holy Grail War was limited to small ceremonies in the Far East. I didn't expect this to involve the constellation of the spirit. The third method. And the vortex of the root. The storm surrounding the Holy Grail War is about to unfold. Fate World. Ha 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 ha. Gilgamesh laughed wildly and patted Yenfeng Chili on the shoulder. Did you see Chili? This is the king's bravery and strength. Yen Fengili remained silent, her gaze subtle. He had already anticipated what would happen from the moment he learned about the chain greeting and saw Gilgamesh throw away the relics. Thinking of this, Yen Fengili couldn't help but smile happily at the corner of her mouth. In the FA world, Vlad III was also shocked, and the followers and lords of the black and red sides were also shocked. They all thought to themselves, what kind of Holy Grail war is this? In the world of war, the small mouth of the five-river Chin opened slightly, and the lollipop fell directly to the ground. So far, apart from the initial space shock, no elf or space has brought such destructive power. And this destructive power is just the aftermath of the unsatisfactory battle between the two people. Magical girl Xiaoyuan world, Xiao Mei Yen is also seriously considering the possibility of the Holy Grail War. Magic and miracles exist. Even if it comes at a cost, it still exists. If you summon Enki or Gilgamesh, defeat the witch's knight easily. The screen darkened, and before everyone in the heavens and worlds could notice any changes in the gold list, the top 9 appeared. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Top 9 Battle of Red Mist Mutation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dimension Gold List, inventory of the top 10 high-burning and shocking scenes in the world, ranking in no particular order. Top 9 Battle of Red Mist Mutation. Come and see the power of urban management in the world of supernatural beings, Gu Xiaoluan said somewhat incredulously. What? What? City management. Lu Chuang laughed directly and said, what's going on? Brother Guan can also make it to this dimension gold chart. In the fantasy world, Aunt Boli caressed little Lingming's head while taking a nap, looking at the word mutation with some confusion. Red Mist Mutation. Should it be fantasy land? No, maybe it could also be another world. At the Boli shrine, Kaluno laughed and patted the table, ha ha ha. City management. The Boli witch is a city management. Ha ha ha. Kaluno, who was laughing wildly, completely missed Boli Lingmeng, whose face had turned black. Ghost exterminates the world, and after pondering for a while, Shibuya Fuyuya realized that mutation can be said to be a term of the Heian era. Since it is a mutation, it must be related to monsters and ghosts, and besides the Yin-Yang master, the only one who can solve the mutation is the witch. Thinking of this, Fu Yaozai's hopes have increased in his heart. Since witches can retreat and cure monsters, then ghosts are the same, right? If you can learn the methods of witch battles, you will definitely end the tragedy of Tsuji no Kami. Inventory begins, the picture comes to a bright world, with flowers blooming and birds singing and flowers fragrant. The perspective of the screen constantly changes, including humans, fairies, ghosts, gods, non-human objects. Various beings and lives peacefully reside in this extraterrestrial land called Fantasy Land suddenly. Starting from the shore of the misty lake in Fantasy Hometown, the thick red mist begins to spread. Originally a sunny fantasy town shrouded in red mist, I looked up and didn't recognize the sky. Kelsey. It's very similar to Terra's biota. But this is a world without disasters, isolated from the world and not seen. This article on area. Masaka. Here. Is this the legendary anime? Death Attendant. Oh. Don't say that to the beauty upstairs. Aren't you also from anime? Second Asia. Ah. Dior. Well, this red mist is quite good, it's very suitable for vampires. Why don't I have such a ghost blood technique? NMD, why, said Yoshimoto Tsuji, with no tragedy in the world of Xingyue, countless magicians have been shocked. In this era of fading gods, no illusions, and depleted resources, there is such a place where gods and fantasy species exist. This is simply a legendary view of the inner sea of stars. In the world of yin-yang masters, Abe Harumi couldn't help but feel a little shocked in her eyes. Human beings, monsters, and ghosts are in opposition to each other, with gods towering over them. In this world, humans, monsters, ghosts, and gods can coexist. What is the one who holds all of this together? The screen rotates. In a rather barren shrine called Boli, a witch girl lay on a tatami, covered in patched blankets, peacefully asleep. Bang, Ling Meng. Ling Meng. Something big happened. A blonde girl dressed in black and white maid attire, wearing a wizard's hat, and holding a broom kicked open the door of the shrine, shouting out a spiritual dream loudly. Ling Meng impatiently got up from the bed and rubbed her eyes. So what's going on? Marissa. Morisa pointed to the blood-red sky outside the door and said, Raimu. This is a mutation. Watching the strange changes outside, Ling Meng's dead fish eyes remained unchanged, just sighed. Yi Do said, Ah. Indeed, there are poor gods and poor witches. Jibei Yuma said, can all the protagonists who can make it to the gold list be so poor? I feel even poorer than me. Merlin. Huimin has not slept yet. Akira Hayakawa. Is this blonde girl a magician? A very stereotypical image of a magician. Dumbledore. Ha ha ha. A lively child. If she were at Hogwarts, she would definitely be a member of Gryffindor. Mana. The familiar gaze. Turns out this little girl is also a tired worker. In the fantasy world, the face behind the grandma's mask is full of disbelief and surprise. I never expected that the protagonist on the gold list would be Raimu. It's still a spiritual dream when I grow up. In the world of Hokage, Naruto Vortex pointed to Raimu and said to Kakashi, Teacher Kakashi. This girl's eyes look like yours. Kakashi gave Naruto a silent glance. As early as the first time he saw Raimu, he knew that Raimu must be an unpaid worker. As the screen rotates, Ling Meng flies at high speed in the air, heading towards the source of the distant red mist, towards a foreign mansion. Woo! Suddenly, a little girl's voice appeared in the air. Upon hearing the sound, Raimu, who was flying at high speed, suddenly looked ahead in surprise as a dark mass was flying towards her. As we approached the darkness, a little girl appeared in the center of the darkness, smiling happily as she flew towards Raimu. Ling Meng frowned and dodged the little girl before accelerating directly. The water below was also stirred up by this acceleration, causing huge waves. After a period of flight, Ling Meng finally arrived at the source of the red mist mutation, the Red Demon Hall Ermero 2. She's only a teenager. Is she really talented? Kikyu. Such a powerful witch. Indeed, one cannot judge by appearance. Tony Stark. So, how did she fly? The power can carry waves. Is it already close to the speed of sound? Joyuan Temple has a pearl. Don't use technology to measure and explore mystery, you may not understand. Gu-E. Stark has the qualifications of a mage, and mystery is not an area he cannot explore. In the world of the Black Robe Inspection Team, the eyes of the Chinese people watching the flying Boli Ling Meng are gloomy and uncertain. In his eyes, flying is his own privilege, it is the privilege of the Chinese people. In DC world, the Flash sat in Batman's car with a pizza in his mouth and asked with complex eyes, "So? Is this a Supergirl?" In the fantasy world, Auntie saw Lumia like this and already knew her future choices. She gently caressed Lingmeng's face. Perhaps she couldn't accompany Lingmeng to grow up, but it's really nice to see Lingmeng grow up. Slowly falling to the ground. In front of the gate of the Red Demon Hall, a green-clad and red-haired gatekeeper is guarding the gate, not giving way. The red-haired sect leader looked at Lingmeng and wiped the corners of his mouth, showing a disdainful expression. He raised his hand in a martial arts attack posture, and his closed fingers provocatively hooked. Lingmeng didn't say much either. He aimed his palm at her and placed the imperial coin on his arm with the other hand, then swung it hard. Ha! The blue spiritual wave shot out from the palm of Lingmeng's palm. Heading straight for the red-headed sect, red-haired Menfan still had the confident and disdainful expression on her face, until Linglibo approached her and she finally moved, revealing a panicked and comical expression. Hey! Boom! A huge explosion sounded. It produced thick smoke. When the smoke dissipated, only the red-haired man lay on the ground with a French gesture, dressed in tattered clothes and fainting. And the door of the Red Demon Hall was smashed directly. Lingmeng was walking step by step towards the door of the foreign hall. Sue Quebec, good guy. I like this sister. She used to be so crazy when we were together, but she just pretended. General Manager Chong Tian said, hey. This can't be called her pretending. I thought she was going to compete in skills, but who knew that Lingmeng suddenly fired a light cannon. Kojiro. Ha ha ha. It's so funny. She can't be any funny character, can she? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. The Stopping Maid. The game is really full. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Squeak. Lingmeng pushed open the door, and a cold female voice rang in her ear. Welcome to the Red Demon Hall, Boli's Witch. In the dimly lit Red Demon Hall, a silver-haired maid slowly walked out on the second-floor staircase, looking at Lingmeng with a wicked smile. Lingmeng looked expressionlessly at the maid and asked, Are you a human? Jonathan Josta. This inexplicably familiar scene. Dior. Roar. Jojo, it's really unfortunate. The owner of this foreign restaurant is also a vampire. Let me see how this arrogant little bread was killed by a vampire. Tan Jingzong. The power of this little girl. Somewhat familiar, is it the power of time? Lex Luthor. She is human and possesses powerful power. Why should she help the heretic race? Hee. Let your master come out. Raimu took 2 steps forward and said, that red mist has caused us a lot of trouble. I hope she can stop. Suddenly realizing something was wrong, Raimu quickly turned around, but found that the door she had pushed open was already tightly closed. You won't see the young lady. The maid suddenly appeared behind Lingmeng with a smile on her face. Let me replace her to meet you. Ah. Lingmeng quickly turned around and waved out the imperial coin, which was easily avoided by the maid. The maid lifted her skirt and pulled out 3 flying knives from the leg loop bag tied to her thighs. Lingmeng waved the imperial coin, took out the rune paper, and angrily shouted, If you dare to obstruct me. Whether it's a monster or a human, I'll show you the healing. Polunalef. What ability is this? Is it the ability to control the door switch? You are truly a maid guarding the door. The regicide said, it should be a skill that moves instantly, but what is the ability that cannot be captured by the figure and the door closing action? David Martinez. That's a bit like the scene when Swanstein started. Dior. Roar. I understand. Using the same flying knife technique, we really have an inexplicable fate. In the world of Inuyasha, countless monsters are laughing wildly. Ha ha ha. Who does she think she is, whether it's a person or a monster? Ha ha ha. Even the famous witch Kikyu has died, what kind of thing is she? The maid jumped into mid-air upon hearing this and threw a flying knife. Suddenly, the screen changed color, and the patterns of gears and clocks appeared. Lingmeng's body also stopped for a moment, and then 3 flying knives turned into hundreds and shot towards Lingmeng. Lingmeng accurately dodged and scattered all the flying knives that could attack her, while throwing more than 10 golden runes at the maid. It's useless. As the maid raised her hand, time suddenly came to a standstill. Lingmeng's body remained motionless, and the rune paper flying towards the maid also froze in mid-air. Dior. Being able to be tamed by vampires must already have an immortal body and the ability to stop and stop. Ha ha ha. It's almost like throwing a shitty egg. Tan Zhengzong said, it doesn't matter if the weak resist the strong, but if they can't resist, they have no value. Any movement without value is out of print. You are. Is this maid from the Time clan? How could the Time clan bend down and become a maid? Romani Archimon. Is stopping time or something too supermodel? Captain Marvel. Just like the cosmic Rubik's Cube created me, perhaps her time ability was only created by some powerful object. The same move was once again dodged by Raimu, who seemed to sense the maid's ability and provocatively said. How about becoming a magician? You must be very popular in the world. Me. Going to a human place. You're really good at joking. The maid's face turned cold upon hearing this. Let me end you here. Shoo, the patterns of gears and clocks reappeared, and the world came to a standstill again. Let me witness the power of fear and disgust that humans fear and despise, tremble to the fullest. The Witch of Boli. The maid jumped into the air and kept throwing flying knives. A few, dozens, hundreds. The flying knife surrounds the spiritual dream at 360 degrees. There is no room to escape, Xiao Meiyan said. It is indeed a troublesome thing for time stops to only affect oneself, and cannot be directly erased within time stops. Dior. Humph. That means you're still too weak. Sakata Inshur said, her time stops for at least a few minutes at a time, and you only have 5 seconds. Dior. Wryyyyyyyyyy. Kuching said, how can she avoid this nowhere to run attack? Perhaps only a miracle can make her escape from death. She just lacks a virtual ability, said Yujibwa with Soil Alicia. I feel so heartbroken watching 2 cute girls fight and kill each other. Then the maid fell to the ground and took out a constantly shaking pocket watch. You will die in confusion. Only the young lady can understand me. Release. Pushi. A flying knife pierced Lingmeng's forehead. Then countless flying knives pierced Lingmeng's body, piercing her without any bloodstains. At this moment, the supposed dead spiritual dream suddenly turned into a pile of runes. It swept towards the maid. The maid stopped her time again to avoid the attack of the rune paper and fell to the ground, only to find that the ground had also been trapped by Raimu's rune paper, controlling her. Finally fell for it. Lingmeng slowly walked down the stairs behind the maid. When the maid opened it again, she stopped and found that the talisman paper that bound her could not be lifted at all. Chang Panzhuangwu said, is she also holding a dial in her hand? I know. She's also a Kamen Rider. Yuji Bo Itachi, reincarnation from dirty soil. 1 ring at a time, their direct game is already full. Bo Fengshui Gate, youth. It's full, it's really full. Ba Mame said, it seems that the essence of spiritual dream power is also magic, and it has a similar usage to me. Hu Tao. She can even use talismans better than me, Yin and Yang Master. Isn't she a witch? Kikyo. If the stereotype that witches only use bows and arrows was caused by me, then I'm really sorry. In Fantasy Village, it's not uncommon for someone like you to exist. If you want to survive here, don't give me any trouble. The maid gritted her teeth and stopped when she opened it again, but when she turned around, she found that Ling Meng was nowhere to be found. And at this moment, Ling Meng had already arrived at the maid's side, waving his palm and accurately targeting her. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Yin-Yang Ghost God Jade. Scarlett Sisters. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When? The maid stopped when she lifted her grip, took out her flying knife and wanted to strike first, but unexpectedly, there was also a talisman paper in the air that firmly bound her. She panicked and lowered her head, as the attack from Raimu had already arrived. Lan Ran said, "When did you set up the trap of heaven and earth? You really have a keen sense of combat." Jonathan Josta. It seems that this time justice and humanity are superior. Genos. Looking at the driving of the witch Boli, she wouldn't have killed that maid with just one palm, would she? Haha. Ling Meng slapped the maid's abdomen with a palm, and blue spiritual waves emanated through her body. Then a yin-yang fish surrounded by purple lightning appeared between the palm of Raimu and the lower abdomen of the maid. It kept expanding, treasure. Yin-Yang Ghost God Jade. Buga. Mississippi. Ah, 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 ah. In the midst of screams, the maid of the Red Demon Hall was defeated. She was retreated by Ling Meng Wei Aolai. The power of penetration. A beautiful punch. Wine-swallowing boy. Wait. This power. How could humans have such a powerful power? Miyagi Mitsuha said, "Hey. Can witches really be so powerful? Why can't I just dance a sacrificial dance?" Ms. Shirjilu. What a cool yin-yang monster. This handsome move belongs to me now. Marvel World, Strange looked at Guy with a dull expression on his face and said, "By the way. Is this also the power of your cultivators?" Gui smiled faintly and said, "This is just one of them. The road is the same, but the form of power expression is different. However." Looking at the spiritual dream in the picture, Guyi's eyes were incredibly stunning. This little girl's talent can be said to be unprecedented. "If I could become a magical girl, I would definitely be so powerful," said the deer with round eyes shining with gold as she looked at the spirited and confident posture of Ling Meng in the magical girl's small round world. After retiring from the maid of the Red Demon Hall, Ling Meng discovered a violent explosion fluctuation. She flew out of the Red Demon Hall and found two vampire girls fighting fiercely above the hall, as well as Marisha watching from the side. "I'm late, Ling Meng. Even if I intervene, I won't have Zi. This is this guy's battle." Upon hearing Marissa's words, Raimu turned around and asked, "Morisa, what are you doing here?" Speaking, Raimu pointed to the blue-haired vampire girl and said, "And what is that?" "That's the main culprit of the mutation," said Morisa, looking to the right again. "That's her sister. Dior. Vampires. Humph, vampires without large muscles are too weak. Sophie. Ah, yes, yes. 8 dances. Is the competition between sisters. What makes them fight for it? Is it the qualification to live or the freedom to live? Virgil. They all understand the rules. If you want it, use your strength to get it." At the moment, a rotating magic array appears behind the two sisters on the battlefield of the Red Devil Hall. Countless light bullets and cannons spewed out from the magic formation. The sky above the Red Magic Hall is full of light spots. My younger sister was the first to release the magic formation and took out a giant sword made of flames to fly towards her. And the older sister is also constantly blocking her attacks with a purple spear. Watching the scene of sisters fighting inside, she can sit and catch the fisherman. Lingmeng's happy eyes flashed and said happily to Morisha, "I never thought Morisha would be useful occasionally." General Manager Chong Tian. Yada. How could anyone shoot a cannon? Ah. Ron Weasley. This is too cool. Am I really learning magic? Why don't there be such cool special effects? Silver Wolf. At least you need to dodge all the magic points to avoid them. So why is this scene so much like a barrage game? Sylvester. The sword that little girl is holding is. Lie. Upright arrow tile downright arrow ting rocky. The power of the divine gun Gungnier has also appeared. Is that purple gun Gungnier from another world? Brennhild. What is the origin of these two little vampires? Powerful magic, magic guns, and magic swords. Where did they get them from? It's not just occasional, is it? Morisha is going to talk back, but she finds that the sisters in the battle suddenly stop fighting and hold each other in the air. Hey, what's wrong with that? Lingmeng asked Morisa with some confusion. At this moment, the sisters hold hands and turn around to look at the Lingmeng devil and Lisa. Long wait, Boli's witch. Block Fantasy Village and come to a duel. Upon hearing this, Lingmeng's face suddenly pulled down and turned to look at Morisa with disdain, saying, sure enough, you will cause trouble. No problem. If we work together, Lingmeng and I will be invincible Ze, said Morisa calmly, please cooperate with me well. Yasaka Rin, sisters, there is no overnight revenge. Tornado. After sisters make up, the next thing to deal with is Lingmeng and Morisha. Jonathan Josta. Damn it. Miss Raimu and Miss Morisa are in danger. Dior. Ha ha ha. Humans can never defeat vampires, Jojo. How can a mere witch and human wizard defeat a vampire who possesses artifacts and is not old or dead? Baoxing Yongmeng said, but Lingmeng doesn't panic at all on her face. And Morisha is also so confident. I believe they can work together to pass the level with one life. At this time, the sisters separated their hands, slightly opened the distance, lifted the skirt and said elegantly. So let me introduce myself again. I am the owner of the Red Magic Pavilion, a noble vampire, Remilia Scarlett. And my sister. My sister also said seriously, Francie-O Scarlett. Lingmeng picks up the imperial coin and points to the two sisters and introduces himself. Boli Lingmeng. You know I'm a witch of Boli. It's a job to get rid of monsters. In the fantasy world, my mother looked at the salty fish and poverty overflowing Lingmeng in the picture with a heart full of doubts and wondered, Lingmeng is such a lively and lovely child. How could she become like this when she grows up? Is it because Bianzi abused her? In the moonshine world, Jem Wang looked through the books, looked at the sisters and said jokingly, although they are vampires, they are much better than the ancestors of the dead. However, at this age and appearance, becoming a witness to the magical girl is just right. The ghost is killing the world. Zhu Shi looks at the elegant and lovely sisters in a strange mood. Obviously, they are all things of the same nature as ghosts, and they are the same existence as Suji no Kami. But they are simply detestable, and there is a sharp contrast between them and Suji Kami. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Shocking the World. Divine Gun Gungnier vs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After introducing herself, Lingmeng said seriously, the red mist you released is very annoying. I'll take it away now. Immediately. Do you also know that the biggest weakness of our vampires is the sunlight? That fog is used to cover the sun, Remilia asked calmly, now the sunlight no longer shines on Fantasy Village, yes. That means Fantasy Village is equivalent to falling into my hands. Only by eliminating the Witch of Boli, that is to say. You will be the next one, Boli Lingmeng. Let's have a decisive battle. After speaking, a huge magic circle unfolded behind Remilia. Konjo Sitaro said, yeah. A very familiar scene. Being able to say such things, Remilia is already destined to be defeated. Xiao Nan said, anyway, in the eyes of ordinary people, they are evil. In a world without light, even flowers will wither. This is the place I've been dreaming of. Although the blue flowers on the other side are better, if we can't find them, it's good to turn the world into this, said Yoshimoto Tsuji Arthur Pendragon. This is the battle to save the world, Boleman. My will is with you. Alice Megatron. Hey. It's not that serious, is it? Fantasia doesn't have so much deep hatred. I'm too lazy to pay attention to that kind of thing, Reimu sighed and angrily shouted, it's just because you're disturbing me that I'm retreating. That's all. Come on. Reimu. Marisha sat on the broomstick and took off first, let's go too. Sister. Flandrel opened her arms and a huge magic circle appeared, ah. Ling Meng lowered his head and sighed, then his gaze flew up firmly, shoo. Bang 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 bang. Countless light cannons and magic bullets shot out, drifting in the air. The sky is covered by magnificent barrage of bullets. Lingmang and Morisa smiled at each other and charged up against the barrage. Yumu Tianyuan said, gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. It's not much worse than the battle between Enchidu and Gilgamesh. Kukulin. They are truly brave warriors. Sero. This is humanity. There are not so many intrigues and struggles, lives that fight only for stability and happiness. The strongest witch in history is nothing more than that. Where did she come from for courage? Kiki Chiharu. Because they are the strongest combination. Daitsuki Hiroshi said, the flower of bonds is blooming, and I have already ignited it. The high-speed flying Morisa stands on a broomstick like a skateboard, with green magic bullets shooting and barrage colliding. Let's pave the way for Reimu. Upon seeing this, Flandrel cancelled the barrage attack and waved her magic sword, Leviathan, up and down. Lingmeng tossed and turned, rushing directly from below to the front of Flemish Dew. Looking at Lingmeng, who was close at hand, Flandrel paused for a moment before revealing a magical smile. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Taboo fourfold existence. In an instant, for Flemish dewdrops surrounded Lingmeng, entangled with her as she climbed upwards. Merlin. Haha. Little sister Flandrel may not be very good at fighting, how can a mage not play close combat well? Lisa. Ah. Paculi. Ah. In the world of fairy swords, Jing Tian looked at Morisa with admiration and said, this little sister must be very skilled at wielding swords. In the world of Harry Potter, Marissa has become a public idol of Gryffindor. On average, Gryffindor has to send several students to the medical room every hour because they break bones while flying on a flying broomstick. In the world of Hokage, 1,000 hands carefully examined the fourfold existence, and finally came to a conclusion. These 4 clones are completely identical to the main body. They cannot be distinguished, and there is no difference in strength. On the battlefield below, Remilia and Morisa fought fiercely until the climax, with only one move left to determine the winner. Marissa stood on the broom and took out the gossip stove. Master Spark. Colorful and dazzling fireworks burst out from the gossip stove, ha ha ha. Remilia raised her hands, and the huge divine gun Gungnier swelled to its limit, being vigorously thrown by Remilia, bang. The collision of 2 straight lines produces a huge light and explosion. The impact flattens the earth. Asakura Lu said, can a human body emit light that is comparable to that of an Ultraman? It's amazing. Anzi Weigong said, what a rough magic cannon. It's true that firepower can make people feel at ease. Red A, this is the must-have shooting star spear, Gungnier. It can only be used as an attack or shield for hard top. Tony Stark. Marissa's magic cannon can rival the divine gun Gungnier. The human body is on par with the gods. Motherland. Morissa, my friend, you are the true hero. In the Harry Potter world, Ron stopped Dumbledore in the hallway and shed warm tears. Principal, I want to learn light cannon, I want to learn real magic. In the air above, Ling Meng closed her eyes and raised the imperial coin, surrounded by talismans spinning around her. Then, Ling Meng grabbed a talisman paper and placed it in front of her, instantly turning into a colorful light, dream seal. Ling Meng's body rotates, transforming into a huge Yang Jade. The scattered golden lightning destroys all the clones of Flandrel. The screen zooms out, a super huge Yang Jade falls from the sky. The red demon hall is not 1% the size of the Yang Jade in front of it. Is this the power of the witch Boli? Murmured Franciolo and Remilia as they stared blankly at the terrifying Yang Yu above the red magic hall. Sister, adults. As Yang Jade was about to hit the red demon hall, it suddenly contracted and then a huge white light ball exploded. The only buildings on the surrounding land, the red magic pavilion, have been flattened in the world of Yin and Yang masters. All the ghosts in the peaceful capital turned pale with fear. Even the ghost kings in front of Yuzao, Deumaru, and others fell silent for a while. For them, the shock brought by the witch Boli Ling Meng is too great. Even the gods of Gao Tianyuan will be retreated when facing Boli Ling Meng, right? In the world of giants, Alan, who had just lost his mother, was completely shocked by this scene. Whether it was the light cannon played by Morissa against the divine spear or the Yin-Yang ghost jade of Boli Ling Meng, they were deeply engraved in his heart. Alan lowered his head and clenched his fist, murmuring, if I could have this power, I would definitely be able to drive out all the giants without leaving a single one, right? In the world of Hokage, Naruto Vortex looked at this Yang Jade with complexity, while at the same time, all those who had participated in the Fourth Ninja World War had complex expressions and also carried these fears. On this day, people in the ninja realm once again recalled the fear of being dominated by Uchiha. In the Pure Land, Didera jumped up excitedly and said, Art. Exquisite art. Explosive art. Amazing art. Art. Is just an explosion. The inventory screen fell silent. In the fantasy world, a special picture pops up on the dimensional gold chart. Top 9 World Fantasy Hometown Famous Scene Protagonists. Boli Ling Meng, Misty Rain Morissa, 16 Knights Sakuya, Remilia, and Flangelu. Reward for being on the list. You can make a reasonable wish. At the shrine banquet, Raima waited for you to see me and I saw you. Before anyone else could speak, Raima stood up first and said, I want 100000. Woo-woo. Zhao Miao directly covered Raima's mouth, and Marisha began to hint to Sakuya and others. Remy looked at Morissa with gratitude and then bowed sincerely, if what you said is true, then I hope Sakuya, Morissa, and Raimu can all have an eternal lifespan. Reward achievement. A green light entered the bodies of Morissa, Sakuya, and Raimu, and they could all feel a constant stream of vitality inside. Only Fujiwara Meihong, who was drinking on the side, choked and said, what's good about Chongsheng? It's really. After achieving the wish again on the dimensional gold list, the next character on the list will appear. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.